I'm just a comedian. I just be laughing to laugh. Y'all gotta learn how to laugh. I don't mean no harm. Okay? I've been practicing being a comedian for the last 5 years, okay? That's what I've been practicing. That's all I'm on. But what I will say is, no offense. At this point, just tattoo Blueface on your ass, okay? I would just tattoo. That's an easy spell.
Hold on to your seats, folks, because what we have here is a disaster of iconic proportions. A tattoo so embarrassing it could make your grandma question her entire existence. We're talking about Nevaeh, who thought she could immortalize her love for Blueface on her neck. But little did she know, she was about to make a huge mistake. A mistake so big, it's like buying a Ferrari and then crashing it into a lemonade stand. That's right, folks, this isn't just your average tattoo fail. This is the ultimate tattoo fail. Imagine this. You've got Blueface, the rapper with more drama than a soap opera, and you're trying to show your love by permanently inking his name on your neck. But guess what? You misspelled it. You heard that, right? You literally turned the blue into blue. And who better to point this out than Karlissa, Blueface's mom, who's got a mouth sharper than a sushi knife. She wasted no time ripping Nevaeh a new one, turning this situation into a roast so fiery it could put a barbecue in Texas to shame. But the drama doesn't stop there. Oh no. The world was watching as Blueface's mom went in, absolutely destroying Nevaeh for her tattoo blunder. This isn't just a tattoo fail. This is a pop culture catastrophe that's about to break the internet. Buckle up, because we're diving deep into the ultimate scandal. Ready? Let's go. All right, let's break this down. We're diving straight into a tattoo blunder that's far from a simple mistake. No, this is one of those disasters that's so spectacularly bad. You can't help but watch the wreckage unfold in slow motion. Imagine being so sure of your love for someone that you take the ultimate step. You get their name tattooed on your body. A bold move, right? But what happens when that name is spelled wrong? Well, you've just set the stage for one of the most cringeworthy viral moments the internet has ever seen. Let's set the scene here. Nevaeh, an Instagram model or wannabe influencer depending on who you ask, was apparently so in love with the one and only Blueface that she decided to get his name inked on her neck. Bold choice, right? But we're not talking about a little shoulder tat or a small heart with initials. No, she went big, a neck tattoo. Because why not? Let everyone see how much you love him, even if he's never heard of you before and probably doesn't care. Now, here's the first red flag. Nevaeh. The name Blueface is only a few syllables, but somehow she still managed to butcher it in the most spectacular fashion. You see, Nevaeh didn't just misspell Blueface. No, that would be too easy. She somehow turned it into something that could only be described as comical. Something that would make you squint at the tattoo and say, wait, what's that supposed to be? Instead of Blueface, what she got was Blueface. Yes, Blueface, like a typo on a fake Gucci t-shirt from the flea market. Who does that? It's like she walked into the tattoo shop, handed the artist a piece of paper that said Blueface in bold letters, and the artist decided to just wing it. One job, people. Just one job. Now, I know what you're thinking. Surely, someone saw that. Maybe a friend, maybe a fellow influencer? Someone? Nope. It was like a silent conspiracy to let Nevaeh make the ultimate mistake. Picture this. She's sitting in the tattoo chair, all proud and ready to show off her permanent tribute to Blueface, and the artist is just mindlessly working. Too focused on the paycheck to notice that her tribute might as well be a sci-fi character name. No one stepped in. There was no hey, don't you think that looks a little off? No one cared. Instead, they just let her walk out of that tattoo parlor like she just created some kind of masterpiece. But then, oh baby, the fireworks started. Because within hours, the internet had absolutely lost its mind. You ever seen a viral scandal so big, it felt like everyone in the world suddenly became a tattoo expert? Yeah, that's what happened here. People were talking about this tattoo like it was the new Mona Lisa, except instead of art, It was a blatant spelling error. Social media was on fire, and trust me, it wasn't because Nevaeh was slaying this new tattoo trend. No, it was because the world was collectively clutching its sides, laughing so hard that they couldn't breathe. Now, cue the entrance of the real star in this story, Karlissa. That's right, folks, Blueface's mom, the woman who's had a front row seat to her son's chaotic life, is about to drop the hammer. As soon as Karlissa saw this tattoo fail, she knew exactly what had to be done. She didn't just shake her head and move on. No. Karlissa went in. And when I say went in, I mean she took the opportunity to roast Nevaeh in a way that would make a roast master jealous. Karlissa didn't pull any punches. She didn't just drop a sarcastic comment or a winky emoji. She obliterated Nevaeh with every word she typed. Now, let's talk about Karlissa for a second. This is a woman who has seen it all. She's been through every drama, every feud, and every insane story that has followed Blueface around like a shadow. So when she saw this tattoo fiasco unfold, she didn't just roll her eyes and let it go. No way. She went on Instagram, taking the gloves off and making sure the world knew about Nevaeh's epic fail. Her caption was so savage, it could have been used as the script for a Netflix documentary about scorched earth roast battles. Karlissa didn't just call out the misspelling. Oh no, that would have been too easy. She went for the heart of the matter. She tore into Nevaeh for being so in love with Blueface that she couldn't even spell his name right. I mean, the truth hurts, right? But Karlissa didn't stop there. She took it further, going after the audacity of someone who would try to claim they were in love with someone and then mess up the one thing that was supposed to be the most meaningful, their name. Karlissa was in rare form, witty, biting, and completely unforgiving. The internet, of course, lost its mind. The reactions flooded in faster than a floodgate opening. Everyone had something to say. From random Twitter users to celebrities who hopped into the conversation with their own 2 cents. The tattoo fail was now global news. Karlissa's post was shared, reposted, and commented on so many times that it became a trend. People were even mocking Nevaeh in a way that could only be compared to the best roast battles on Comedy Central. And let's not forget the memes, my friends. Oh, the memes. They started popping up faster than hotcakes at a breakfast buffet. One meme had Nevaeh's tattoo on a picture of a dyslexic dictionary. Another one had her tattoo next to a spelling test answer sheet with the caption, "When you mix up your love for Blueface with your love for bad grammar, the internet had nitrogen monoxide mercy." But here's the thing, while people were laughing and roasting Nevaeh, she was sitting there, probably wondering how in the world she could have messed up so badly. No one's going to forget the moment when Nevaeh went from being just another Instagram model to the face of a tattoo catastrophe. It's one of those viral moments that gets replayed over and over again. Like a broken record, people might even be talking about this tattoo for years to come. Why? Because it's that bad. This wasn't just a whoops moment. This was a history-making mistake. But of course, there's more to this tattoo tale than just a misspelled name. The truth is, this whole fiasco wasn't just about Nevaeh and Blueface. It was about public perception, about who's allowed to make mistakes, and about who has the right to roast the people who mess up in front of millions. Because when you're in the public eye, when you're dealing with celebrities, you best believe that every move you make will be picked apart, scrutinized, and exposed for maximum embarrassment. So here we are. The tattoo disaster has exploded, and Karlissa's out here enjoying every second of it. Nevaeh, well, she's now the proud owner of a forever fail. And the world's watching as it all unfolds. All right, folks, now that we've seen the disaster unfold, let's talk about the aftermath. And boy, it gets spicier by the second. You know the drill. Once the internet gets its hands on something this embarrassing, it doesn't just die down. Oh no, it keeps cooking. Like a pot of gumbo that's been on the stove for way too long. And what we've got here is the gift that keeps on giving. Nevaeh's tattoo fail, Karlissa's savage roasts, and the entire internet gobbling it up like a free buffet. Let's talk about the memes, because when this disaster went viral, The internet didn't just laugh, it roasted Nevaeh to the point where even her grandma could feel the heat. You know how people say it's all fun and games until someone gets hurt. Well, Nevaeh got hurt, but this time, not physically. It was her pride that took the punch, and the internet was standing in the corner, shaking its head and throwing one-liners. The memes about her tattoo were endless. Every possible angle was covered, from Blueface, looking like a terrible knockoff of Blueface, to Nevaeh being portrayed as someone who couldn't even spell the alphabet right. And what made this all even juicier was the fact that Karlissa, Blueface's mom, the woman with a mouth that could melt steel, decided that she wasn't just going to sit back and watch this unfold. Oh, no, she was all in. Karlissa jumped into the ring like a veteran wrestler, ready to take down anyone who dared mess with her son's name, even if it was Nevaeh, who clearly had no idea what she was doing. Karlissa's comments were so brutally honest that you'd swear she was a comedic genius hired by the world to deliver the perfect roast. Karlissa's Instagram story didn't just call out the tattoo fail. It dismantled Nevaeh's entire decision-making process in a way that would make even the hardest critics smile. Can't even spell my son's name right? She said, throwing shade like it was going out of style. People on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, were retweeting and resharing like there was no tomorrow. Everyone was just waiting for the next level of savage from Karlissa, and she did not disappoint, and it didn't stop there. Karlissa's post hit like a bomb in the middle of an internet war zone. Her words shattered the already fragile reputation of Nevaeh, who was probably sitting there watching it all unfold and wondering what kind of nightmare she had walked into. The moment Karlissa started roasting Nevaeh, the entire internet took a step back and watched the destruction with popcorn in hand. The memes were relentless, and people were now actively looking for ways to one-up each other with new versions of the tattoo fail. But the twists kept coming. This wasn't just a tattoo fail anymore. This was about public humiliation at its finest. Because let's face it, if you're getting roasted by Blueface's mom, there's no way you're coming out of this looking like the hero. And who could have predicted the celebrity reactions that followed? Celebrities, especially those in the entertainment world, love to ride trends, especially the ones that involve drama. So naturally, they started weighing in. There were Twitter posts, Instagram stories, and even podcast mentions of the infamous Blueface tattoo. And you know who else jumped in? Blueface himself, or should I say the king of chaos. Silently, Blueface let this whole thing unfold. Sure, he didn't come out publicly and roast Nevaeh himself, but you could tell he was enjoying the ride. I mean, who wouldn't? When your mom does all the heavy lifting in the drama department, you get to just watch the show like everyone else. But here's the most hilarious part of it all. There were actual fans defending Nevaeh. Some fans were saying things like, well, it's the thought that counts, and people make mistakes. But let's be real here. No one was buying it. You could practically hear the collective eye rolls from the public, as if the fans were patting Nevaeh on the back end saying, don't worry, it's fine. Your tattoo is just one step away from being a walking meme. Sure, you could make the argument that mistakes happen. But when your mistake gets broadcasted across every corner of the internet, it stops being a mistake and starts being a viral event. And let's face it, when your name gets misspelled on your neck, that's not a simple mistake. That's a public service announcement. Meanwhile, Nevaeh, well, she was trying to figure out how to spin this into something that didn't make her look like the butt of everyone's jokes. She posted a series of selfies, trying to look like she wasn't bothered by the whole ordeal. But we all know that's a classic case of damage control. There's no way you could be unbothered when your tattoo has just become the latest viral joke to hit the web. She went from being an Instagram model to being the subject of every viral meme in a matter of hours. Not exactly the career move she had planned. At this point, it wasn't even just about the tattoo anymore. It was about public perception. Nevaeh's tattoo fail wasn't just some embarrassing mistake. It had become a cultural moment, one that would be referenced for years to come. People were tweeting about it like it was breaking news. There was even talk about whether misspelled tattoos would become a new trend. Could this be a thing now? Could we be entering an era where the more messed up your tattoo is, the more viral fame you get? Could this tattoo become the new fashion statement for the trendsetters of tomorrow? Who knows, but it's clear that this mistake has sparked some of the wildest internet debates we've ever seen. It wasn't just about the tattoo anymore. It was about how people reacted to it, how Karlissa roasted Nevaeh, how Blueface's silence spoke volumes, and how the internet's response was like watching a train wreck with a perfectly timed camera shot. It wasn't just a fail. It was an event, and everyone had an opinion. The internet had made its judgment, and there was no going back. But here's the kicker. The story wasn't over. In fact, it was just getting started. Because when something like this happens, the only thing you can be sure of is that the drama is just beginning. Now, let's fast forward to the aftermath. And trust me, things are about to get even wilder. If you thought this tattoo debacle would just fizzle out like a poorly lit sparkler, think again. No, this was just the beginning of the cultural firestorm that would burn so brightly, it would leave permanent scorch marks on Nevaeh's reputation. The fallout from her Blueface tattoo was the gift that just kept on giving. We're talking about long-lasting consequences that would affect her personal life, social media presence, and public perception for years to come. Let's start with the damage control, because Nevaeh had to try and clean up the mess she made. After all, what's a viral disaster without a little spin? In the days following the tattoo reveal, Nevaeh made the classic move. She posted a series of photos and videos trying to prove she wasn't fazed by the internet's brutal roasting. But let's be real here. If you're in a meme, everyone knows you're bothered. You can post all the selfies you want, but when you're the punchline of every viral joke, your cool act is about as convincing as a toddler trying to sell you a used car. It didn't take long for Nevaeh to realize that this tattoo fail wasn't just going to disappear. She started engaging with her followers, addressing the memes, and even cracking a few jokes at her own expense. It was like watching a PR disaster unfold in real time. You know, the kind where you're trying to be the cool, self-aware person, but it's clear that you've already been eaten alive by the internet sharks. One post in particular had her saying, "At least it's memorable," which, sure, it was, but for all the wrong reasons. Meanwhile, the internet didn't let up. It was like sharks circling blood in the water. Every new meme was a fresh slap in the face. People started comparing Nevaeh's tattoo to other failed celebrity tattoos, and let's just say, the bar was low. They were calling her the Queen of Bad Ink, a title that was going to stick for a long time. One meme even had her tattoo on a picture of a failed spelling test, with the caption, "When autocorrect fails you, but you don't have an undo button, that one." Iconic. But the real punch to the gut came when Blueface's fans jumped in. You see, while Blueface himself was quiet for a while, his fanbase wasn't. Oh, no? They saw Nevaeh's tattoo as the perfect ammunition to poke fun at him and his entire image. They went hard. Some fans started posting memes with captions like, "Blueface is probably just as confused as us." Another popular one was a side-by-side image of Nevaeh's tattoo next to a Spelling Bee championship trophy. Yeah, the internet did not spare her. And then, in the midst of all this chaos, something interesting started happening. Karlissa, Blueface's mom, realized that this was more than just a chance to roast Nevaeh. This was a goldmine for her. Her comments, her posts, her savage burns had turned into viral gold. People loved her. Karlissa became the internet's favorite roast queen, and she embraced it. Why wouldn't she? This was her time to shine, and the spotlight was now on her like she was the star of the show. She wasn't just sitting back and watching anymore. She was actively feeding the flames, posting more memes, more shady comments, and fueling the fire with her usual no-nonsense attitude. At this point, it wasn't just about the tattoo anymore. It was about personalities. Karlissa was playing this like a seasoned pro, and the internet was eating it up. Some even began shipping Karlissa as the new queen of roast culture. Forget the Kardashians, forget the influencers. It was Karlissa who had the internet's attention. Nevaeh. Well, she was stuck in the middle of all this, trying to make sense of how her fan moment turned into a nightmare. This wasn't just a celebrity tattoo gone wrong. This was a lesson in internet fame and just how cruel the internet can be. 1 minute, she's posting photos of her adorable couple tattoos, and the next, she's being dragged by every meme page and Twitter user. Welcome to the world of viral fame, sweetheart. And let's talk about the repercussions for her career. As much as Nevaeh tried to salvage the situation with her "I'm owning it" attitude, the tattoo fail had already damaged her image. Potential sponsors gone. Brand deals gone. Everyone loves a good scandal, but no one wants to be associated with someone whose biggest claim to fame is a spelling mistake on their neck. The tattoo turned Nevaeh from an Instagram nobody to a meme legend, but it didn't exactly push her career in the right direction. If anything, it might have set it back for years. Meanwhile, Blueface's reputation wasn't escaping unscathed either. While the whole world was focused on Nevaeh's tattoo, it also reflected badly on his choices. You know, the kind of choices that made people ask, why is this the woman trying to get his name on her neck in the first place? The tattoo might have been Nevaeh's mess, but people were starting to look at Blueface and think, what kind of world does a guy like him create where this is the type of fan behavior we're seeing? The sponsorships and endorsements he might have been hoping for, probably not coming anytime soon. And let's not forget about the long-term effects. Nevaeh's tattoo is now forever etched into the digital consciousness. This isn't going to be something she can sweep under the rug. Every time she posts a picture, every time she goes live, that tattoo will be part of her legacy. It's iconic. It's iconic, but not in the way she was hoping. It's the kind of thing that, decades from now, people will still bring up when they talk about tattoo fails. So, as the dust begins to settle and the memes start to slow down, one thing is crystal clear. Nevaeh's tattoo fail will go down in history as one of the biggest mistakes ever made in the world of celebrity tattoos. It's the kind of scandal that makes you question everything: your decisions, your career, and most of all, your love for Blueface. And Karlissa. She always be remembered as the ultimate roast queen, the woman who lit this whole thing on fire. If Nevaeh thought the tattoo was a statement, Karlissa's roast was the final word. And as for Blueface, well, he'll always have that name on his neck, even if it's not spelled right. All right, folks, the drama's far from over. Nevaeh's tattoo fail has turned into the ultimate viral disaster. And you know we've only scratched the surface of this wild ride. But now, I need to hear from you. What do you think? Did Karlissa go too far with the roast? Or was it justified? Should Nevaeh have just owned the tattoo? Or is she better off pretending this never happened? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm dying to know what you think. And hey, don't forget, this scandal is just the beginning. Smash that like button like it owes you money, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss the next explosive drama. Because trust me, this world of tattoos, influencers, and crazy celebrity scandals is just getting started. You know we'll be here to bring it to you faster than a viral meme on Twitter. So keep your eyes peeled, because the next crazy story could drop any second. Stay tuned, and remember, in the world of celebrity fails, we're always ahead of the game. Celeb SYNC, where the drama never stops and the scandals only get juicier.